Hi everyone, Cody here. So, some of you have noticed that a lot of videos have started disappearing lately. They've been going private, and I'm gonna try to explain what's going on here. So, uh, long story short, the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission really did not like the video I did last December, processing the uranium ore into uranium metal. I thought it was fine because it's perfectly legal to own uranium metal. It's legal to own uranium yellowcake. It's legal to own uranium ore. One to the other should be fine. The problems arise converting the uranium metal into a state that the uranium is dissolved. So they didn't like that part, converting the uranium into a liquid that could enter the groundwater. The second thing they didn't like is fluorinating the uranium. So I took the yellow cake and converted it into uranium tetrafluoride. Uranium tetrafluoride is one that they really don't like because it's pretty close to uranium hexafluoride, which is what you would make if you were trying to enrich the uranium, which of course is not what I was planning on doing, nor do I have the ability to, but it's a step closer than they would like me to be. So that is why I had to take down the video. I mean, they didn't make me take it down, but they strongly recommended it be brought down. Otherwise, they might press further. That's obviously not the only video that went down. Every video referencing it also went down, and a few others. The oddest one that I had to take down was I was showing off my element collection, and I had a chunk of uranium that I had placed next to a small neutron source for a while, and I figured that maybe I had a couple of atoms of plutonium. They didn't like that either, because converting uranium into plutonium in any amount is illegal. So there's that. I think in the future I can still have a sample of plutonium, but it has to be something like trinonite, the glass melted by the atomic blast, because that stuff was grandfathered in. Other than that, me as a US citizen is not allowed to own or produce plutonium. It's a special nuclear material. What else? There was also a lot of videos that YouTube brought down that were unrelated. So yeah, nearly half the videos I've ever produced are no longer available publicly. It's really depressing. So, oh yeah, I was gonna talk. So they actually sent some people out. They inspected my house, and they with their super sensitive Geiger counters, and they didn't find anything that was super high above background that they would be wanting to do a cleanup. So that's good. They did say the radon levels were a little high, but that's probably just because I had uranium ore sitting near where they were checking. And not just the radon, but the products of the radon. So the radon comes off the ore, and then it settles along with the dust. Like he was showing me that he could pick up the alpha, like it had a shelf, and he was picking up alpha particles coming off of it, and then he dusted the shelf, and then there's no more. So you know it was in the dust. That's because the radon electrostatically attracts to particles, and then they settle out, or you breathe them in. But it's not to a level that would have been harmful, especially because I do have the stuff outside of the actual living area of the house. But one thing that I would like to mention is that people freak out about uranium ore, uranium in general, I guess, because it's used to make atomic bombs and reactors. Like if you stood next to a reactor for even just a few seconds, you would get a lethal dose if you didn't have any kind of shielding between you and the core. And people take that and extrapolate it out to the ore or metal. And that is just not correct. So you have your chunk of uranium or metal, whatever, and you have it decaying naturally. It's producing radiation, it's giving off energy, uranium is being converted into lead. You would have to wait 4.5 billion years for that uranium to decay by 50%. You take that same chunk of uranium, this uranium-238, and you put it into a breeder reactor that converts the uranium-238 into plutonium and then fissions that. You would convert 50% of it to barium and krypton and other fission products in a couple of years. You might have to do some reprocessing to get that kind of efficiency, but it's on a scale of a few years that it would do that. And the energy released in the fission is a bit more, but it's pretty comparable. So the energy released by the reactor, let's say it took 4 years to convert your 50% sample down, that means it's releasing energy 1 billion times faster than the original chunk. It means in just 4 seconds, it produces as much radiation, as much energy output as your original chunk of uranium would have done on its own in 30 years. Just the scale of that difference is just so huge. Like, I'm playing with natural uranium that's decaying naturally. It's not going to be on any level near what a reactor would be producing. And yet, people look at uranium and it's like, oh, that's dangerous. It's like being next to a reactor. I just don't get what all the fuss is about. You guys need to calm down. And, of course, this means that I can't produce the thorium metal. Thorium, same difference. Even longer natural half-life. I bought a $4,000 furnace so that I could melt the thorium. I was going to do this. I had plans maybe I could produce the thorium metal and sell it to element collectors, undercut United Nuclear a bit. Hundreds of dollars a gram that stuff's worth, but it's because of its rarity. Nobody's allowed to make it, and that's why. Anyway, see you guys next time.